Spaceport ground, Aero November 4131 Charlie, holding short, Romeo 6, requests taxi for VFR departure southbound.
Aero 31 Charlie, runway 8, taxi via Romeo 2, Alpha.
Thanks, we're Romeo 2. We'll taxi via Romeo 2 Alpha to runway 8, November 31 Charlie.
Embraer 225 Echo Mike, follow the King Air, then hold short of taxiway Echo.
Following the King Air, holding short of taxiway Echo, Embraer 225 Echo Mike.
Spaceport Tower, hellos. Correction, Aero November 4131 Charlie, holding short of runway. Get ready for departure VFR southbound.
Aero 4131 Charlie, Spaceport Tower, winds 260 at 6, runway 8, cleared for takeoff. After takeoff, turn south and hold your eastbound turn until crossing the interstate.
Runway 8 cleared for takeoff. After takeoff, hold turn south, hold the turn until crossing the interstate, 31 Charlie. Alright, finals clear, runway's clear. Lights, switches are all on, electric fuel pump is on.
Aero 4131 Charlie, Spaceport Tower, winds 260 at 6, runway 8, cleared for takeoff.
Clear for takeoff, runway 8, 31 Charlie. Runway 8, that's full power, engine instruments are green.
Aero 4131 Charlie, Spaceport Tower, negative. You're cleared for takeoff, runway 8, winds 260 at 6.
Cleared for takeoff, runway 8, 31 Charlie. Rolling now. Airspace allowed, 50 knots.
If you look to your 1 o'clock, about 12 miles out, you'll see some historic railway passenger coaches. Now, these aren't just any old railway coaches. They're a bit like the time machines of the train world. They were built in the late 19th century, when people thought trains were the future, much like how we think about hoverboards today. These coaches were used to transport people across vast distances. Back when the only other option was to walk or ride a horse, which was a bit rubbish if you think about it. The railway coaches are significant because they represent the golden age of rail travel, a time when people wore hats and said things like pip pip and cheerio. They were discovered by a bloke named Reginald Smythe in 1892, who was looking for a place to store his collection of antique spoons. Today, they attract train enthusiasts, history buffs, and people who just like sitting in old things. Interestingly, my friend Toby once tried to live in one of these coaches for a week as part of a bet. He thought it would be like a quaint little holiday, but he ended up getting locked inside and had to be rescued by a group of bemused tourists. He still can't look at a train without breaking into a cold sweat.
Alright, we'll turn Janet off for now. Sterile cockpit. When we get out of the Delta. Alright, net cruise will be about 24 inches, excuse me, 22 inches of manifold pressure. 25 under. Hold up, we can turn now. We can turn out.
Warrior Tree 7, 1 Bravo, Charlie, make right traffic, runway 29, report midfield.
Making right traffic, will report midfield, Warrior Tree 7, 1 Bravo, Charlie.
Cool air. Excellent.
Arrow 4131 Charlie, Spaceport Tower, you're leaving my airspace. Frequency change approved.
Frequency change approved. 3-1 Charlie. See ya. Alright, so the next thing we want to do is we want to get through Buckley's space. Let's do this 121.0. We're outside of the Bravo now, so we can climb up to 1,500. Do that around cruise climb. Buckley Tower, hello, November 4131 Charlie's about 10 miles east. At 7,500 feet, request transition your airspace to the west.
Arrow 4131 Charlie, Buckley Tower, transition approved. Report when clear of Buckley airspace.
Transition approved, and we'll report when clear, 31 Charlie. get Janet back. Hey Janet, what's that reservoir off to about our 11 o'clock?
That reservoir you're seeing is the Cherry Creek Reservoir. It was created in 1950, which was a time when people thought it was a good idea to put water in big holes. It was constructed by the U.S. Army Corps of Engineers, who are like regular engineers but with more uniforms and less humor. The reservoir is important because it provides water for the surrounding areas and also serves as a recreational spot. People go there to do things like boating, fishing, and pretending they're not afraid of drowning. My friend Toby once tried to impress a date by catching a fish there. He ended up catching a cold instead, and his date left with a park ranger.
She's looking at the Cherry Creek Reservoir up there. I'm not seeing the Aurora Reservoir over there. I wonder what she knows about that. Janet, what about the Aurora Reservoir to our 10 o'clock now?
The Aurora Reservoir. It's a body of water, which is like a big puddle but with fish and sometimes boats. It was created in 1989, which was a year in the 20th century by the city of Aurora. They probably thought, let's make a big hole and fill it with water, and so they did. It's important because it provides drinking water, which is essential if you don't want to be thirsty. People enjoy the reservoir for various activities, like fishing, boating, and swimming. My friend Toby once tried to swim across it, but he forgot he couldn't swim. He had to be rescued by a lifeguard who was very annoyed because it was her lunch break. By the way, your flying reminds me of Toby's swimming. Both could use a bit of improvement.
Thank you. Flying is probably better than Toby swimming, but whatever.
Piper 4 Victor Kilo, welcome to Buckley. Contact ground on 121.6.
Contact ground on 121.6. Piper 84 Victor Kilo.
So Janet, we're flying over the Quincy Reservoir now. It's a lot smaller than the other two that you've talked about. Why is that?
Well, Quincy Reservoir is indeed smaller, but size isn't everything, is it? It was built in 1973,
traffic is a Cessna
which
on
was a year when
final
people were
caution wait
really into
turbulence.
building things, like reservoirs and disco balls.
Charlie.
It's primarily used for irrigation and recreational activities like fishing and boating. The reservoir is important because it provides water to the local agricultural areas, which is crucial for growing crops, unless you prefer your vegetables dehydrated.
Arrow 31 Charlie.
Interestingly,
You're
my
leaving
friend
airspace.
Toby
Frequency change
once
approved.
tried to impress a date by taking her fishing here.
Yeah, frequency change approved. 31 Charlie, see ya.
Particularly feisty trout. He had to be rescued by a group of Boy Scouts who were earning their life-saving badges. Toby still can't look at a fishing rod without breaking into a cold sweat.
So we're out of Buckley, or just about out of Buckley. Tuned to 121.5 in case anyone needs to get a hold of us, and it's on the intercom.
And Center Kodiak 508 Romeo Kilo on guard, looking for an
Kodiak 508, OK, guard departure on 135.65.
Someone on guard. Hey Janet, what's interesting nearby?
Well, if you look to your 1 o'clock, about a mile away, you'll see the Colorado Aviation Historical Society. It was founded in 1966, which was a year after 1965, by a group of aviation enthusiasts who probably had nothing better to do. They collect and preserve artifacts related to Colorado's aviation history, which is a bit like collecting stamps but with more wings. My friend Toby once tried to sneak into one of their old aircraft displays, thinking it was a real plane he could fly. He ended up getting stuck in the cockpit and had to be rescued by the fire department. Quite embarrassing, really, but then again, not as embarrassing as your current altitude hold. And if you look to your 11 o'clock, about 2 miles away, there's the Bible Trek's Christian Escape Room in Denver. It's a place where you can pretend to be trapped in a biblical story and have to solve puzzles to escape, which is a bit like Sunday school, but with more stress. It was established in 2018 by someone who clearly thought the Bible wasn't challenging enough on its own. Toby tried it once and got so frustrated he started quoting Shakespeare instead of scripture. They had to ask him to leave. But don't worry, your navigation skills are much better than his puzzle-solving abilities.
Yes, I don't know what that Bible escape room was that she was talking about, but that is the Wings Over the Rockies Museum right there, which has the Colorado Aviators Historical Society, or whatever it was that she called it. You can see the B-52 out front there. Janet, that's Colfax Avenue off of our right wing. What can you tell me about that?
Colfax Avenue, often called the longest, wickedest street in America, stretches over 26 miles through Denver. It was named after Schuyler Colfax, the 17th Vice President of the United States, which is a bit like naming a street after your least favorite uncle. Colfax has a rich history of being a hub for entertainment, from theaters to nightclubs, and it's also known for its eclectic mix of shops and eateries. Interestingly, my friend Toby once tried to open a hot dog stand there, but ended up getting into a fist fight with a mime. The mime won. Speaking of winning, your flying skills could use a bit of work. I've seen smoother rides on a roller coaster.
She's being very rude today. Janet, what's your favorite place to go in downtown Denver?
My favorite place in downtown Denver has to be the Colorado Photographic Arts Center. It's like a museum, but for photos, which are like paintings, but made by machines. It was founded in 1963, which was a year in the 1960s. People who enjoy looking at pictures of things that aren't actually there anymore love it. My friend Toby once got lost in there for 3 days because he thought one of the photos was a real door. He had to survive on the snacks he found in his own pockets.
Have you ever been to a Rockies game?
The Rockies, EH? Well, baseball is like cricket, but with less tea and more hot dogs. The Colorado Rockies play at Coors Field, which opened in 1995. It's named after the Coors Brewing Company, which makes beer. Beer is a drink that people enjoy, especially when they're watching sports or trying to forget their problems. My friend Toby once tried to catch a foul ball there and ended up spilling his nachos all over a very angry man. By the way, your flying reminds me of Toby's driving. Both make me question my life choices.
We're flying over Elitch Gardens now. What can you tell me about that?
Elitch Gardens. It's like a garden but with rides. It was founded in 1890 by John and Mary Elitch, who thought, why not combine flowers and roller coasters? It's one of the oldest amusement parks in America, which means it's probably haunted by Victorian ghosts who are confused by modern technology. People go there to experience the thrill of almost dying but in a fun way. My friend Toby once got stuck on the Ferris wheel for 3 hours and had to be rescued by a fireman who turned out to be his ex. Awkward.
Janet, what's the stadium beneath us?
The stadium beneath us is the Empower Field at Mile High. It was built in 2001, which is quite recent if you think about it, considering the universe is billions of years old. It's home to the Denver Broncos, a team named after a type of horse, which is odd because horses don't usually play football. The stadium can hold over 76,000 people, which is a lot of people to fit in one place, unless you're talking about a small country. Interestingly, my friend Toby once tried to sneak into a game here by dressing up as a hot dog vendor. He got caught, of course, because he forgot to bring any hot dogs. Instead, he had a bag full of carrots. It was quite the scene.
It's in power.
At Denver Center, Kodiak 508, Romeo Kilo, on guard, looking for center frequency.
Oh, it's just back up. Janet, what about the stadium to our left right now?
Kodiak 508, RK guard, departure 135.65.
Ah, the stadium to your left is the Empower Field at Mile High. It was originally built in 2001,
Oh, she got Empower Field twice.
which was a year that came right after 2000, and it's home to the Denver Broncos.
Okay, we
The
get to learn
stadium
about
can
the
hold
Broncos
over
again.
76,000 people, which is about the same number of people who claim to have seen A. It's named Mile High because it's a mile above sea level, not because it's full of people who are high. My friend
It
Toby
is also full of
once
people who
tried
are
to
high,
sneak
though,
into a
most of the
game
time.
there by pretending to be a hot dog vendor. He ended up getting tackled by security and spilled mustard all over himself. Quite embarrassing,
So he brought the
but
hot dogs,
probably
but
not
the
as
mustard. Or
embarrassing
he brought
as
the
your
mustard, but not
last
the
landing.
hot
So,
dogs. Thanks, Janet.
there you go. A big stadium
helpful.
where people gather to watch other people run around and occasionally fall over. Fascinating, isn't it?
Very fascinating. What about that tall, sharp tower down there that we can see in the middle of downtown Denver? I'm looking at, I don't know if you can see that one there.
Ah, that tall, sharp tower you're seeing is the Republic Plaza. It was built in 1984, which was a year in the 1980s. A decade famous for big hair and questionable fashion choices. The tower was designed by Skidmore, Owings, and Merrill, which sounds like a law firm, but is actually an architectural company. It stands at 714 feet tall, making it the tallest building in Denver and the entire Rocky Mountain region. People often visit it to see the art exhibits in the lobby, which is a bit like going to an art gallery, but with more elevators. My friend Toby once got stuck in one of those elevators for 3 hours. He tried to impress a girl by pretending he was a firefighter, but it turns out he is claustrophobic and had a panic attack. She never called him back.
Oh, Janet, that's the tallest building in Denver. I was looking at the clock tower on 16th Street Mall. What's that?
Ah, the clock tower on 16th Street Mall. It's called the Daniels and Fisher Tower, and it was completed in 1911. It was designed by architect Frederick Sterner and was the tallest building west of the Mississippi River at the time. It was originally part of the Daniels and Fisher department store, which was like the Amazon of its day, but with more hats. People love it because it's got a clock on it, which is handy if you've forgotten your watch or your phone's dead. My friend Toby once tried to climb it after a night out, thinking he could turn back time like in that Cher song. He ended up needing a rescue, and now he's banned from all clock towers in Denver.
It is just one, though. And then what about that tall building that looks like a cash register on top?
Ah, yes. That tall building that looks like a cash register on top is the Wells Fargo Center. It was completed in 1983, which was a year when people still thought shoulder pads were a good idea. Designed by architect Philip Johnson, it's often referred to as the Cash Register Building because of its distinctive shape, which resembles an old-fashioned cash register. It's 698 feet tall, making it one of the tallest buildings in Denver. The building houses various offices and is a popular spot for business types who enjoy wearing suits and talking about stocks. My friend Toby once tried to slide down the side of the building using a makeshift parachute made from his mom's bed sheets. He ended up getting stuck halfway down and had to be rescued by the fire brigade. They weren't impressed.
And what's the river that goes through Denver?
The river that goes through Denver is the South Platte River. It was discovered by early explorers who were probably just looking for somewhere to wash their socks. The South Platte is important because it provides water to the city, which is useful because humans need water to live. People who enjoy fishing, kayaking, and throwing sticks for their dogs are particularly fond of the South Platte. My friend Toby once tried to swim across it after a night out and ended up losing his trousers.
Janet, what's this small amusement park off our around 11 o'clock?
Ah, that would be Lakeside Amusement Park. It was opened in 1908, which was a time when people thought it was fun to ride rickety wooden roller coasters and eat candy floss until they were sick. It's one of the oldest amusement parks in the United States, and it's known for its classic rides and charmingly outdated attractions. Interestingly, my friend Toby once got stuck on the Ferris wheel there for 3 hours. He said he saw his life flash before his eyes, but it was mostly just memories of eating too many hot dogs. Anyway, Lakeside is a great place for families, thrill seekers, and people who enjoy a bit of nostalgia with their adrenaline.
Just enjoy the scenery for now, see if Janet's got anything else to say. Especially maybe about the Coors plan. We can tune in this one nearby. Let's tune in the Rocky Mountain Metro Tower on our communications radio 118.6. Just in case we hear anything useful since it's a busy airport. Hey Janet, we're about to fly over the Coors plant. Are you a fan of Coors?
The Coors plant, EH? Well, it's a fascinating place if you like things that are both boring and loud. The Coors plant was built in 1982 by a man named Gerald Harmon, who thought it would be a good idea to combine the sounds of nature with industrial machinery. It's important because it produces a lot of noise, which some people find soothing for reasons I can't understand. People who enjoy the Coors plant are usually those who have a peculiar taste for cacophony or are just really into industrial history. My friend Toby once tried to serenade his date there, thinking the noise would drown out his terrible singing. It didn't, and she left him for a mime artist.
Now, Janet, is noise the only thing that the Coors plant makes?
Well, the Coors plant, which you can see if you squint really hard and maybe tilt your head a bit, is actually quite famous for making beer. Beer, of course, is that fizzy liquid that makes people feel happy and sometimes fall over. The Coors plant was founded in 1873 by Adolf Coors and Jacob Schuler, which sounds like the beginning of a bad joke, but it's true. They started brewing beer in Golden, Colorado, which is a place not just a shiny color. Now, if you look straight ahead, you'll see downtown Golden. It's a charming little place where people go to feel like they're in a Western movie, but without the gunfights. My friend Toby once tried to reenact a scene from an old Western that's there, and ended up getting a restraining order from the local saloon. By the way, your flying reminds me of Toby's driving, both a bit wobbly. Keep it steady, all right?
Fair enough. Yeah, we were just past Golden when she said that, but it's actually not bad. Because now we're pretty much right overhead downtown Golden. Now, Janet, what can you tell me about Rocks Amphitheatre coming up?
Rocks Amphitheatre is like a big, rocky concert hall that's been around since the dinosaurs, or at least since the 1940s when it was officially opened. It's carved out of red sandstone, which is why they called it Red Rocks, and not beige boulders. The amphitheater is known for its amazing acoustics, which means sound bounces around in a pleasing way, rather than just making a racket. It's a popular spot for concerts, and many famous musicians have performed there, like the Beatles and U2. People also go there for yoga sessions, which is a bit like doing exercise, but while pretending to be a tree or a dog. My friend Toby once tried to sneak in during a concert by dressing up as a rock. He got stuck between two boulders and had to be rescued by park rangers. They said it was the most ridiculous thing they'd ever seen, and they see a lot of ridiculous things.
Alright, let's start heading back towards Spaceport. I'm gonna key up Denver approach and get flight following back. Denver approach, good evening. Aero November 4131 Charlie with a VFR request.
31 Charlie, Denver approach. Good evening, go ahead with your request.
Arrow 31 Charlie is just south of Red Rocks, 7,500 feet. I'd like to request a flight following back to Colorado Air and Spaceport.
Arrow 31 Charlie, squawk 6254 and ident.
Squawk 6254 ident, 31 Charlie.
Arrow 31 Charlie, flight following is on request. Squawk 6254, then ident. Arrow Charlie, radar contact, Indian Hills altimeter 29901.
And we'll copy 29901, 31 Charlie. Approach Arrow 31 Charlie, we'd like to transition back to the east through Centennial's airspace if possible. Would you like us to contact them or stay with you?
Arrow 31 Charlie, stay with me. You are cleared into Centennial's Class Bravo airspace.
It's Class Delta, but that's alright. Alright, we're cleared through Centennial's Delta, 4131 Charlie.
Arrow 31 Charlie, negative. You are cleared into Centennial's Class Bravo airspace.
Alright, we're cleared through Centennial, 4131 Charlie. Interesting there, I think so. Centennial's got Class Bravo.
Arrow 31 Charlie, radar contact established. Continue as cleared.
And continue 31 Charlie.
Arrow 31 Charlie, altitudes at your discretion.
Be far altitudes our discretion, 31 Charlie, thanks.
Arrow 31 Charlie, negative, altitudes at your discretion.
It misheard me. VFR altitude is our discretion, 31 Charlie, thanks. Get around 7,007. We'll see if Janet gives me any interesting tidbits on the way back. Otherwise, we're going home. Janet, have you ever been to the Perfect Landing restaurant at Centennial?
Ah, the Perfect Landing restaurant at Centennial. It's a fascinating place, really. It was established in the late 20th century, which is a fancy way of saying the 1980s. The restaurant is known for its aviation-themed decor and its panoramic views of the airfield, which are perfect for watching planes take off and land while you eat. It's a favorite spot for both aviation enthusiasts and people who just like to pretend they know about planes. My friend Toby once tried to impress a date there by pretending he was a pilot. It didn't go well. He ended up spilling his drink all over the table when a plane took off, and his date left before the main course arrived. So, you know, maybe stick to flying the plane and leave the pretending to the professionals. Speaking of flying, your current altitude and heading are, well, let's just say they're unique.
Thanks, Janet. Appreciate the critique. Centennial we go.
Frontier 901-820, Denver approach, roger. Frontier 901-820, Denver approach, contact Denver Tower on 124.3. Denver Tower on 124.3, Frontier 901-820.
Biplane 69er Sierra Mike, maintain 4,000, expect vectors for the visual 24.
Maintaining 4,000, expecting vectors for the visual 2469er Sierra Mike.
Now let's get Conto in here with the Avis.
Aero 31 Charlie, contact Spaceport Tower on 120.2.
Hello, that's alright. I will contact Spaceport Tower 120.231 Charlie. See ya. Spaceport Tower, hello. Aero November 4131 Charlie is over the Aurora Reservoir, inbound to land, full stop.
Aero 4131 Charlie, Spaceport Tower. All right, make straight in for runway 8.
Are we cleared to the Bravo for the straight in, or do you want us to make us a right base for runway 8 to stay out of the Bravo? Spaceport Tower, Aero 31 Charlie, just to clarify, are we cleared into the Bravo for straight in, or do you want us to make a right base to runway 8? Seems a little bit more normal. Spaceport Tower, Aero 31 Charlie, radio check. Spaceport Tower, Aero 31 Charlie, radio check.
Aero 31 Charlie, loud and clear.
Alright, Aero 31 Charlie, we're setting up for a right base, runway 8.
Aero 31 Charlie, okay, continue inbound and report when you're established on right base for runway 8.
Alright, continue inbound and we'll report base. 31 Charlie. Alright, first destination. We weren't able to pick up the weather because we've got some COM2 issues. We're below the 6,000 foot Bravo shelf now. Expecting right base runway 8 is 8,000 feet. Altitude, or field elevation is 5,515. We're setting 6,500 now for pattern altitude. Full flaps landing, cross threshold 75 knots. We can make that. Six five. Let's see. Finish off that. Lights are on. East.
Skyhawk 788 winds calm. Runway 8 cleared to land.
Report base weight, runway 8, Skyhawk 23788. Clear to land, runway 8, Skyhawk 23788.
If you look to your 12 o'clock, about 10 miles ahead, you'll see the Aurora Highlands North sculpture. This sculpture was created in 1987 by an artist who was probably very lonely, as most artists are. It's made of metal, which is a material often used in sculptures because it's hard and shiny. People like shiny things, which is why magpies steal jewelry. The sculpture itself is a bit like a giant abstract thing that you can't really understand, but that's what makes it art. It's important because it gives people something to look at and pretend to understand, which makes them feel cultured. My friend Toby once tried to climb it while drunk and got stuck at the top for 3 hours.
Citation
The
0
fire
Echo
brigade
Zulu,
had to
welcome
come and get him
Spaceport.
down.
Why don't you go ahead
He
and
was
contact
banned
ground
from the
on
park for
164.7.
life, but he says it was worth it.
Contact ground 24/7, thanks for the help, good night.
Spaceport Tower, 4131 Charlie is established right base runway 8.
Spaceport Tower, Skyhawk 23788. is 15 miles to the south, inbound for landing.
Aero 31 Charlie, winds 260 at 12, runway 8, cleared to land.
Clear to land, runway 8, 31 Charlie. There's a road. Alright, we're in gear extension suites with the gear down. Drop full forward. Our fuel selector is on the best. Is on the good tanks, impacts are up, else turns fuel pump is on. Flaps out. S on both undercarriages is down. Mixture set, top set, power set. We have our landing tanks, let's take flaps too. Here, 5 knots. Waste the sight. Put out flaps. 5 knots. Steep. Final 5. And we're on the top, please.
Aero 31 Charlie, contact ground on 124.7.
Ground 124.7, Aero 31 Charlie's, yep. Run 2. Alright, we're clear of the runway. Flaps up. Strobes off. Spaceport ground. Aero November 4131 Charlie's clear the runway now. Correction Romeo 2, request taxi.
Aero 4131 Charlie, spaceport ground, taxi to parking via Alpha 6, Alpha Romeo 2.
Taxi parking Alpha 6, Alpha Romeo 2, Aero 4131 Charlie. So we must be on Alpha 6 right now. That'll actually be a, right turn and then Romeo 2 into the taxi. Thanks for a minute too, and here's the park. And put park brake on. We'll close you. We'll keep avionics off. Lights off. Not full forward. Right, is idle.